October 5th every year is celebrated globally as World Teachers' Day. From the 2024 theme, Valuing Teacher Voices Towards a New Social Contract for Education, the focus this year shifts to recasting teaching as a collaborative profession. The emphasis is on transforming the traditional model of isolated classrooms and individual labor into one that promotes teamwork and shared growth through team planning, peer mentoring, joint professional development, supportive school leadership, and formal structure that encourage collaboration. For governments, the goal is clear: to improve teachers' working conditions, professional standards, and overall well-being.
Is to create an opportunity for mentorship, to create opportunity for sharing of experience, to create an opportunity for having access to different resources that will enable effective teaching.
The TRCN are taking a number of steps and working very hard to make registration, certification and licensing seamless.
This in turn will lead to better learning outcomes and stronger teacher retention. With more than 100 countries marking World Teachers' Day today, it's worthy noting that the day was first proclaimed in 1994 by UNESCO in collaboration with International Labour Organization, Education International, and UNICEF, following the 1966 ILO UNESCO recommendation concerning the status of teachers. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu says shortage of teachers is a global challenge the world must confront with urgency by empowering educators, investing in their growth, and inspiring more to join this noble profession. In her message marking this year's World Teachers' Day with the theme focusing on the global teacher shortage, the First Lady highlights the need to draw more attention to one of society's noble professions. Saluting teachers on their special day, the First Lady herself, a lifelong teacher, described them as true heroes who shape minds, nurture dreams, and guide generations. Chad's parliament voted overwhelmingly to eliminate presidential term limits, allowing President Mahamat Idris Deby Itno to potentially remain in power indefinitely with 7-year terms. The controversial constitutional amendment proposed by Deby's Patriotic Salvation Movement, MPS, was supported by 236 of the 257 lawmakers with no votes in opposition. The reform has raised concerns about democratic backsliding in Chad, a Central African nation grappling with poverty and political instability. The decision has drawn sharp criticism from opponents who view it as a power grab by Deby, who was installed on transitional president by military generals in 2021 following the death of his father, Idris Deby Itno, in a clash with rebels after 3 decades in office. Deby was elected president in May 2024 for a 5-year term in a vote boycotted by most opposition parties who labeled it unfair. Foreign ministers from Saudi Arabia, Jordan, the United Arab Emirates, Indonesia, Pakistan, Turkey, Qatar, and Egypt issued a joint statement today endorsing Hamas' response to U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal to end the war in Gaza, release all hostages, and initiate immediate negotiations. The ministers praised Hamas' agreement to transfer Gaza's administration to a transitional Palestinian Administrative Committee of independent technocrats. They also welcomed Trump's call for Israel to halt bombings and begin implementing the exchange agreement, expressing gratitude for his commitment to fostering peace in the region. The statement highlighted the opportunity for a comprehensive and sustainable ceasefire to address Gaza's dire humanitarian crisis. The ministers urged swift negotiations to finalize mechanisms for the proposal, which includes ensuring unrestricted humanitarian and preventing Palestinian displacement and safeguarding civilian security. The coalition reaffirmed its support for ending the Gaza conflict, advocating a unified Gaza and West Bank under the Palestinian Authority. a full Israeli withdrawal, and Gaza's reconstruction. They emphasized a path towards a just peace based on a two-state solution with security guarantees for all parties. The statement was released by Saudi Arabia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs on October 5, 2025. Efforts to end the nearly 2 years of war in Gaza may be gaining momentum as Israel announces that negotiators will travel to Egypt for fresh ceasefire talks on Monday. Habibat Aminu tells us more.
Israeli government spokeswoman Shoshbat Roshan confirmed during a media briefing that a delegation of negotiators will depart for Cairo, while talks aims at reaching a deal that could finally bring an end to the devastating conflict in Gaza. The announcement signals a potential new phase in diplomatic effort to halt the fighting, which has caused widespread destruction and deepened the humanitarian crisis in the Palestinian enclave. Egypt has played a key mediating role in previous rounds of indirect negotiations between Israel and Hamas, often in coordination with Qatar and the United States. While details of the new talks have not been disclosed, expectations are focused on achieving a ceasefire agreement and advancing plan for hostage releases and humanitarian relief. The war, now approaching its 2-year mark, has claimed thousands of lives and displaced countless civilians. International pressure continues to mount on all parties to end the violence and return to the negotiating table. All eyes will be on Cairo in the coming days as Israeli negotiators arrive, raising hopes for a breakthrough in one of the region's most protected and deadly conflicts. Habibat Amin, NTA News.
Rescue operations continue in Bulgaria's Elenite as floods leave 4 dead, including a Russian tourist. Rescue operations are underway in eastern Bulgaria after devastating floods claimed at least 4 lives. The disaster struck the Black Sea resort village of Elenite following days of torrential rainfall. Hundreds of soldiers, firefighters, police officers and volunteers are working round the clock in Elenite to clear thick mud, uprooted trees and debris left behind by severe flooding. Heavy machinery and rescue vehicles have been deployed across the disaster zone, where access remains restricted. Authorities say properties of evacuated residents are being secured as emergency teams continue to search for survivors and assist those displaced. A state of emergency has been declared across the Sarajevo municipality after intense rainfall submerged major roads and bridges, including the key Sarajevo Igres Malkov Tanavo route and crossings near Nestinaka Beach. Officials are urging residents to remain indoors and avoid all non-essential travel. As rescue efforts continue, authorities are assessing the full extent of the damage while bracing for possible further rainfall in the coming days. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, says the Bola Tinubu administration's renewed hope agenda is driving a major transformation of Nigeria's health infrastructure with visible progress across the country. Speaking during an inspection visit to Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University Teaching Hospital in Bauchi, the minister expressed satisfaction with the pace and quality of work at the ongoing construction of a world-class radio diagnostic center. The facility being developed by MedServ and the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Health, is already about 70% complete, with all major equipment procured and ready for installation. Professor Pate noted that the Bauchi Radio Diagnostic Center is one of 10 such projects being executed nationwide under this partnership, aimed at improving access to modern medical diagnostics. He emphasized that once completed, the center will not only serve the people of Bauchi State, but also the wider Northeast region, delivering world-class healthcare services closer to home. The minister also inspected the construction of a new clinical trial center within the same teaching hospital, developed in collaboration with the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness and Innovation.
At the 0ctober University Hospital. It's being constructed in collaboration with the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness and Innovation. It's something that the hospital's leadership and the partners came together to develop the capacity so that we can be involved in clinical research as well, so that we can generate new knowledge, bring new solutions to help address the diseases that afflict our people. So it not only will serve the people of this area, but it also has relevance beyond just one state, to the entire country and West Africa. And
National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has launched the strategy and roadmap for trans fatty acid regulation in Nigeria. This reaffirms Nigeria's commitment to safeguarding public health by eliminating a dangerous dietary risk linked to heart disease, stroke, and premature death. Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, highlighted that Nigeria has already taken bold steps, including setting regulatory limits of no more than 2 grams of industrially produced trans fat per 100 grams of total fat or oil. In recognition of this effort, Nigeria was named by WHO in 2023 as one of only 7 countries worldwide that have adopted best practice TFA elimination policies. The newly launched roadmap outlines a phased approach focused on industry reformation, laboratory strengthening, compliance monitoring, public education, and cross-sector collaboration. With support from partners such as Resolve to Save Lives, WHO, and other stakeholders, NAFDAC has also expanded its laboratory capacity to analyze TFAs, marking significant progress towards full implementation. Professor Adeyeye called on government agencies, industries, civil society, and consumers to work together to achieve WHO validation of Nigeria's program. Eliminating industrially produced trans fat is possible, achievable, and urgent. Stakeholders are advocating stronger collaboration between communities, security agencies, and corporate organizations to enhance grassroots security and socio-economic development. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that this was the focus at a community security dialogue in Katampe, Abuja.
The Community Security Dialogue organized by the Pan-African United Development Network (PUDIN) brought together traditional leaders and security personnel to discuss the link between corporate social responsibility and community policing. The convener of the network, Habib Mohammed, said the initiative is aimed at aligning CSR programs with community security priorities to reduce youth restiveness and vulnerability.
You can't tackle security without starting from the community. And we're trying to link CSR, that's corporate social responsibility, and security at community level. You find out that no matter what you do, no matter how, as an individual, one way or the other, corporate social responsibility affects you.
The DPO Katampe Division commended the initiative and urged residents to sustain their partnership with the police to maintain peace.
The saying that policing is every man's business is true. It has not changed and will certainly not change. What we have advised the people to do is to ensure that they are part of security, and that they have done reasonably in most places. So that if you go to some of the communities within the district, you have the CJTF working closely with the police. You have also the hunters working closely with the police.
For the district head of Katampe, Alhaji Adamu Digga, engagement between communities and security agencies remains key to fostering peace and development at the grassroots. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International. We'll take a break here. There'll be more reports when we return. Do stay. Many thanks for staying on. The Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, welcomes the prompt release of colleagues Ruth Marcos and Kesia Jang of J1001.9 FM Jos Plateau State, who were recently arrested while covering the funeral of the late mother of the All Progressives Congress APC National Chairman, Professor Nathaniel Ayotida Gashwe. The two journalists were detained following the posting of a video report on social media showing a confrontation between a cleric and security operatives at the funeral. Their arrest caused deep concern within the journalism community as it represented an infringement on press freedom and the right of journalists to perform their lawful duties. NUJ commended the intervention of the Director General of the Department of State Services, Oluwatosin Ajayi, who ordered their immediate release, personally reached out to the NUJ to convey his apologies and reiterated his directive to DSS operatives to conduct thorough investigations before making arrests. In the spirit of this year's Pensioners' Day, the Nigerian Union of Pensioners is appealing to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to increase the national minimum pension to 60,000 naira instead of the recently approved 32,000 naira in appreciation of their long, active and selfless service to the nation. President, Nigeria Union of Pensioners, Godwin Abumisi, made the plea during a press conference marking the 2025 Pensioners' Day celebration in Abuja. The president, who returned unopposed, frowned at crisis rocking some state councils, assuring to resolve them amicably, including the challenges of outstanding backlog of pensions and gratuities by some state governments.
Our passionate appeal to his government to urgently look into and address the following demands to further make life better for Nigeria pensioners. These include urgent inclusion of pensioners from the 7 defunct parastatals who were advertently excluded from benefiting the 32,000 pension increase. We appeal to Your Excellency to please direct the National Salaries, Income and Wages Commission to issue a fresh circular to accommodate the following affected parastatals. In similar vein, I wish to remind our state governors and local government chairmen of their responsibilities for immediate implementation of the series of pension increases approved by the federal government in the past years.
Abumisi commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for releasing billions of naira for the implementation of 32,000 naira pension increase consequential adjustments. The Equipment Leasing Association of Nigeria has urged lessors and leasing companies to register all lease agreements with the Equipment Leasing Registration Authority, describing the move as crucial to strengthening Nigeria's economy. This is contained in a statement made available to newsmen in Abuja by Adebola Brooks-Lynn Sunday, the head, Media and Corporate Communications, ELRA. Adebola Brooks-Lynn Sunday quoted the Executive Secretary of ELAN, Mr. Andrew Emonuwa, during a capacity building program for ELRA staff with the theme, Equipment Leasing, from Principle to Practice. Emonuwa said leasing remained a key financing option for businesses, especially in sectors such as agriculture, construction, transportation, healthcare, and manufacturing, where access to equipment was critical for growth. He explained that proper registration of lease agreements would enhance transparency, provide accurate industry data, strengthen investor confidence, and support policy formulation for the sector's expansion. In his remarks, the Registrar, Chief Executive Officer of ELRA, Mr. Donald Wokoma, welcomed the collaboration between ELAN and ELRA, describing it as a win-win for all stakeholders. Wokoma said the partnership would enhance regulatory oversight, promote industry cooperation, and reinforce leasing as a driver of sustainable economic growth. He reaffirmed ELRA's commitment under the supervision of the Federal Ministry of Finance to fostering transparency, innovation, and accountability in the leasing sector. According to him, The agency would continue to provide an enabling environment that ensures the leasing industry contributes meaningfully to national development. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have dismantled 2 major drug cartels in Lagos, uncovering cocaine concealed in stainless cups, body cream and hair gel containers. Sawa Khalil Ibrahim reports that NDLEA carried out series of intelligence-led operations across the country, leading to significant seizures and arrests.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has cracked down on drug cartels in Lagos, securing major victory against the criminal syndicate. In a series of operations that lasted 3 weeks, the operatives of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, intercepted 174 parcels of cocaine concealed in cocoa butter body cream. The cargo agent and mastermind of the shipment, who claimed to be a businessman and a state developer, were arrested. In a similar vein, NDLEA fueled 5 desperate attempts by another criminal syndicate to export cocaine consignment to the United Kingdom, seizing 2.10 kilograms of cocaine concealed in hair cream containers at the Lagos airport. A notorious drug dealer known as Sammy Bless, who was responsible for distributing illicit drugs in the Lekki and Aja axis, was arrested. At the time of his arrest, 550 grams of Colorado packaged in retail plastic cups were recovered from him, along with 3 other suspects. In addition, a total of 27,700 pills of tramadol were seized from a 25-year-old suspect in Kwara State. Interdictions and arrests were also made in Ogun, Kano, and the Federal Capital Territory. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
President Tinubu is committed to ensuring that Nigerian farmers are empowered to produce high-quality food in sufficient quantities to meet the country's needs. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, stated this during his participation in Field Day for Rain-Fed Wet Farming in Plateau State. Musa Baba Aliyu reports that the Plateau State government donated hectares of farmland to support further research in field crop production.
The government is making strides towards ensuring that the country is self-sufficient in wheat production through innovative rain-fed farming. Before now, farmers believe that wheat can only be produced under irrigation, mostly between November and March every year. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture, in collaboration with the Lake Chad Research Institute, has been conducting trials for rainy season wheat cultivation, building on over 3 decades of research and crossbreeding to develop heat-resistant wheat varieties suited to Nigeria's climate. During the field day, the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, alongside Plateau State Governor, inspected the plantations where 6 varieties demonstrated promising yields. The top-performing varieties were named in honor of President Bola Tinubu, the Minister of Agriculture, and the Governor. Abubakar Kyari highlighted the potential economic benefits for Nigeria and smallholder wheat farmers in the country.
What Nigeria does today is that we import over $1 trillion worth of that translates to billions of dollars. So with this, it means we're going to save on foreign exchange and we'll be self-sufficient in what we do. And like Mr. President has said, we grow what we eat what we grow. And this is in line with Mr. President's renewed hope agenda.
Governor Mufwang praised President Tinubu's food security strategy and allocated 50 hectares to the Research Institute to support further development.
We've got to come to a point where we decide enough is enough of all the wasted opportunities. And therefore, from this point onward, we have to be deliberate, we have to be intentional, we have to be scientific, we have to make sure that we key into global best practices. And that is the only way we can be able to help ourselves.
If successful and widely adopted, This innovation could reduce Nigeria's wheat imports by 35%, making a major milestone in agricultural innovation and economic self-reliance. From Kuru, Plateau State, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
And this is where we'll end the news. We thank you so much for being a part of it. I am Chinenye Mwe.